What's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up? It's going.
How you be? Who's this guy?
Hello?
I don't know. I think he's lost.
This isn't Otakus Anonymous.
Boy, you on the wrong show.
Coop! Coop, where you at?
Coop's not here to save you.
Fuck.
You're in our house now, buddy.
Yep, you got to be the brain cell tonight.
Oh no! Why? Why? No.
Look. You asked to be here.
It's very
These are
true.
facts. These are
You were
facts.
about as excited as I was when you mentioned we were doing a Spawn episode.
Listen, I love Spawn.
His ears
okay?
perked up and everything. He was like, "Huh?"
He said, "Y'all doing Spawn?"
Yeah,
Come on
let's talk about Spawn. Yeah, let's talk about Spawn. I know Spawn.
Yeah.
Also, you're gonna hate me because I have the most ass backwards way of knowing Spawn.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
As much as
Please
I
tell
love
me it's
Spawn,
not. Please tell me it's not the way I think it is.
It probably is.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get there. We'll
We'll
get
get
there.
there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay. Also,
Xander, how are you? Since somebody asked you, how are you?
I'm good. Better now, actually. I actually wanted to mention. So I know Husky in chat. He is aware of this sort of because I remember talking to him a couple days ago. I was dealing with a headache that lasted for like 2 days straight, and I had no idea what was happening. And then finally, what was it? Monday. Yeah, just yesterday, I made a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
It was come to find out, it was my first bit of caffeine I had in almost like 3-4 days.
Oof.
And I no longer had
You went more than a
headache.
day without. You went more than a day without caffeine. You brave soul.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
dude.
dude.
But I was like, I thought something was legitimately wrong with me. I'm like, what is happening right now? Why can't I get rid of this headache? I'm like drinking water out the ass. I'm pissing more than normally so, which that's a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah. You basically stay by the urinal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's usually my first. That's my first
luckily I
instinct.
got
If
a
I have a
catheter.
headache, Jesus, he's got like a Foley bag taped to his leg during all shows now.
Yeah.
Because he started making fun of him for it. But no, it's like my first reaction. It's like, oh crap, got a headache, and I need to caffeinate. So I'll like drink coffee, drink a Monster, drink tea, whatever to get my caffeine in. And if it doesn't go away, then I'm like, oh great, today's gonna suck because I get migraines.
Oh no.
No.
I'm dumbfounded that I didn't even think about that. I legitimately thought that there's something wrong with me. Which don't chat. Be easy, please. I know there's plenty wrong.
I
with me,
mean,
but
if we want to get into that, that's a whole nother episode.
yeah,
but
that's a whole nother episode on a whole nother sub channel here on the Box Network. But speaking of, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 31 of Comic Relief, the live weekly talk show for all things comics, their on-screen adaptations, and everything in between here on the Box Network. The new talk show network covering comic, horror, anime, and music news. If you're joining us live here on Twitch, please note that alerts are muted as not to disrupt the flow of the show, but will be acknowledged at the soonest opportunity. If you're watching us on YouTube, an easy way to show your love and support is to make that YouTube algorithm happy by giving this video a like, share, and subscribe to the Box Network. If you'd like to stay up to date with upcoming shows and news, join us on Discord or follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links will be in the description box down below. But for now, on with the show. We are your hosts. I am Xander.
I'm Jagger, and tonight we're in my world.
Let's go.
Joining us, as we've already mentioned, is another one of the Box Network's esteemed hosts, Charles Robin Jr. Welcome to Comic Relief, Charles.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing? Hi.
You want to tell our lovely folks where else they can find you? We know you can find you on Otakus Anonymous on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/the_Box Network. That was a really long breath.
Wow, I'm impressed.
You should take a break. That was good.
I was
That good.
impressed
like that.
too. Shit.
Man,
Yeah.
it's like when we were kids and you're like, yo, I can swim from this end of the pool to the other end of the pool, all underwater. Watch me. Boom. Nailed it. Look at
It's
that.
a quarter of the way there, and you're like, you're only halfway there.
It's like, oh god, I gotta keep going.
But anyway, where can the folks find you, Charles?
Oh, so you guys can find me also on Twitter at Charles Robin Jr. Also find me on Twitter at Charles_Robin Jr. Sometimes I even forget my own Twitter. But it's basically me doing streams. Right now I'm going to do Doom Eternal. And
Nice. Love that game.
And literally my Twitter is literally me talking about anime, video games, and sports. So if you like those three things, follow me.
You can also find him on Instagram at @unknownuser.
Yes.
No.
Which, in fact,
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, if you want to go ahead and take a bit of talking points right now, I'm gonna start up a poll for everybody in chat here. We're gonna have some fun here. All right.
I already hate this. I already hate it. I already know what the question is.
Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be?
All right,
Charles
everyone in
Instagram?
chat. Should Charles make an Instagram?
Enough about sexually repressed Dr. Banner. Let's get into the meat.
The meat.
The meat.
The main content. The meat and potatoes. Welcome to Jagger's world.
To my world. So to preface everybody in chat, normally our show is outlined in about 2 or 3 pages at the most. Our show notes tonight are 9 pages long.
Motherfucking made a full course meal.
I deep dove into this, so this is going to be a lot of me talking and them commenting and inserting when they want. So y'all feel free to interrupt me whenever, just not mid-sentence, preferably.
You got it, Professor. The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Okay.
Hold on, let me get my notebook out.
Are you gonna take notes? Okay, so Spawn. We have the basic storyline. And I'm going to go through a lot of the plot details and the arcs and key characters and things like that. So, originally, and for most of its history, Spawn has followed the afterlife of a man named Al Simmons. Al was a government secret military operative who was murdered. After death, he made a deal for his soul in order to return to Earth and be with his beloved wife Wanda once again. Unfortunately, Al's deal was not a fair trade, and he quickly discovered his misfortune. He was returned to Earth in a bizarre, living costume capable of acting independently and changing form. He possessed great powers that seemed to be limited only by his imagination. Underneath, however, Al was hideously scarred and left with most of his memories removed. Hell had made Al into a Hellspawn, or Spawn, an officer in training for its eventual war against Heaven. As Al became more and more aware of his situation, he fought back more and more against his masters. Along the way, he's encountered a wide variety of friends and foes, and Spawn has a huge roster of supporting characters. Some key characters we have to introduce first before getting into the actual meat and potatoes of the storyline. You have Al Simmons, the Spawn, who is introduced in Spawn issue 1. Wanda Blake, Al's former wife. Terry Fitzgerald, Wanda's current husband and Al's best friend. Cyan, who is Wanda and Terry's daughter. Sam Burke and Twitch Williams, 2 police detectives and friends of Spawn. The Violator, a demon sent by Hell to keep tabs on Spawn, also known as the Clown. Malabolgia, the demon who made a deal for Al Simmons' soul. Cogliostro, a mysterious and wise old man that serves as a tutor for Spawn. Angela, a warrior angel who becomes an unlikely ally of Spawn. Mammon, a mysterious agent of Hell plotting against Spawn. And the Redeemer, Heaven's version of a Spawn or anti-Spawn. Any questions so far?
Did you get all that? Did you get all that, Charles?
I got the characters. The Violator kind of almost made me laugh, but I tried to keep it in.
Is that because you were thinking of John Leguizamo as the Violator?
A little bit.
Yeah. I was looking at the same thing.
Violator. That's fair. That's fair. So before I get into more of the story, Charles, how is it that you know Spawn?
Hey, okay. So I heard about Spawn. I've seen pictures of him when I was younger, and I was like, that guy looks cool. And I was about 13, and the Spawn movie was literally on demand. And I was just like, I know that character. Might as well watch the movie.
Okay.
So I watched the movie. I like Michael Jai White, so I was like, oh,
yeah,
he's cool.
That's fair.
And so I watched the movie, and I was like, yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. Years went by, I rewatched it, and I was like, oh, man, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's a rough movie.
It's a rough movie.
But so I started getting, more older. Then they put out the animated series from the HBO show on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I binged through most of it. And I was just
the animated series was so good.
Oh God. Keith David as Spawn is maybe my favorite thing on the planet. I'm just like, dude, that's just Spawn. That's
the fact that he still voices Spawn in the Mortal Kombat game is amazing.
Oh yeah. I mean, Keith David is one of those voice actors to where it's not only is he a good actor, but he's also a good voice actor.
Oh
Like, you
god,
don't
his
really
voice is
get, like,
iconic.
you don't really get two of those together. Like,
Yeah.
so like watching that was just like, oh, I'm gonna start reading Spawn comics. Granted, never bought
I'm
them,
mad that my
but
earliest memory of Keith David is actually Agent Cody Banks.
Really?
fuck, he
Yeah.
was an Agent Cody Banks.
Bro.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Oh my god.
That's my earliest memory of Keith David.
My earliest memories of Keith David. Oh god.
Even though no, obviously I've been more exposed to his discography or filmography rather. I might as well just go. I'm gonna stay with the music theme. Discography of film.
You're hurting my soul.
I know.
That hurt. That's a lot.
And then years later I finally watched Pulp Fiction. But
I mean,
so I was first introduced to Keith David in the Spawn animated series because my dad had it recorded on VHS, and I had a similar kind of thing. Like I knew what the comics were, like the Spawn comics. My dad had a few of them, like not the old ones, but like some like I think it was like the mid 100s. By the time I'd gotten into them, and then the Spawn movie came out. And I watched it. I loved it. My dad was like, if you like that, you should watch this. Pops in the VHS tape of the series that he has recorded. And I watched through that. My mom was so mad because it was so violent. And my dad was like, he watches horror movies on his own. Why can't he watch Spawn? So that started around the same time as like my horror journey did. And then I started collecting
comic books. We can see how that journey went if we just take a look at your back wall.
Yeah, it went pretty well.
I mean, if you saw my box of Spawn comics, you'd realize real quick.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's a full long box. I need to get a second box already.
I still need to find my other comics. They're somewhere in the storage room in a big Tupperware right now.
All of my comics are literally on my bookshelf right there where my jackets are.
But I was introduced to Keith David through that, and then I also saw him in The Thing.
Oh, yep,
which is
one
of his earliest acting roles, like on-screen acting roles. Okay.
It's funny.
So, go ahead.
The first time I saw Keith David was another voice acting thing. It was Gargoyles.
Oh, yep, that's another good one.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's another good one.
Literally, I remember waking up Saturday morning. Gargoyles was on at like ABC, and I was like, "That guy's cool. Life's cool."
It's such a good trend here, Charles.
And then
speaking of, hold on, when are we gonna get a live adaptation of fucking Gargoyles?
Shut the fuck up! No.
Please no. Leave it as a treasured. Please leave it as a treasured thing in the past.
Because I want it, but I want it good.
You're not gonna get it good because you know who's gonna pick it up. As soon as somebody puts that shit on the table, you know who's gonna pick it up? Michael fucking Bay, and he's gonna take it and do what he did to Ninja Turtles, and we're gonna hate it.
I want an HBO Max series of Gargoyles.
Nope, not gonna happen.
No.
Netflix.
That and it is going to be on Disney Plus.
Nope.
Amazon Prime.
Leave it in the past. Leave it as the golden nugget that we remember it as.
Let it go, man.
Let it go. Not everything needs a live remake.
No, we've covered this in OA. No.
Not everything needs an update. Some things can just stay in the past. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the early days of Spawn first.
Okay.
I'm going to try and go through this as quick and as best as I can. Okay, so in his early battles, Spawn faced a lot of street thugs, gangs. He became a very dark, sadistic anti-hero. He brutally murders the pedophile and child murderer Billy Kincaid, which grants him the attention of police detectives Sam Burke and Twitch Williams, better known as Sam and Twitch. And he becomes the king of Rat City. It's a gathering of alleys populated by the city's homeless. There he meets Cagliostro, who seems to know a lot about Spawn and becomes his mentor. Later on, Spawn is then hunted down by the warrior angel Angela, who hunts Hellspawns for sport and battles the cyborg mob enforcer Overkill. He also ends up fighting against the angelic warrior Anti-Spawn, also known as the Redeemer, who is actually Jason Wynn, the guy that killed him.
Wait.
Yeah. So, okay, if you've seen the live action movie, they
Yeah.
cover the origin story almost to a T.
Yeah.
Um,
Like to the point to where they're dumping gasoline in his body before they light him on fire.
yeah, Al Simmons was a special forces agent who was hired by Jason Wynn. Jason Wynn turned on him, killed him, set his body on fire, sent him to hell. Malebolgia made a deal for his soul, turned him into an anti-spawn, or turned him into a hell spawn, and became the spawn. He had like the spawn suit that would gain power over time. Jason Wynn was then snatched from heaven to become the anti-spawn as the Redeemer. So that's where you get those characters from.
The shitbag that killed Al. Why he go up to heaven to be a redeemer?
Because
they needed someone to kill Spawn.
Yeah, they Heaven quickly realized that they needed somebody that was going to be able to kill Al Simmons, and Jason Wynn had successfully done it before, and Jason Wynn had set himself upon a path of righteousness by going to confession and basically turning himself around. He wasn't really a villain anymore. So they basically snatched him up, labeled him as the Redeemer, and said, "Hey, we need you to kill him." And he can't. So that's when we get into First Metamorphosis. After a thick confrontation with the Redeemer, Spawn's suit becomes way more advanced. It grows a cape, chains, and it can shapeshift to confuse his opponents. Spawn's boots and gloves are replaced with spikes. Since the metamorphosis, the suit will then feed off souls. We get a sort of glimpse at that here on the cover of issue 1. Which
Got a
all
bit
the
of glare
origin
there.
stuff. Yep, I'm working on it.
Oh, so good.
So much glare. There we go. A little bit better. Oh. Sorry, I'm working off of a delay. Sorry, it's bagged and boarded. It's issue 1. Of course, it's going to be protected. And that's where the iconic look comes from, is the boot and gloves. It's basically after fighting the Redeemer, it learns it can evolve. After this event, Tony Twist sends a reprogrammed Overkill after Terry, who is Wanda's new husband, and Spawn is forced to reveal his identity while saving his friend. However, a well-placed shot from Twitch Williams brings down Overkill. Spawn is then part of Angel's trial and later travels to the south, encounters the KKK and an abusive father of 2 boys. Takes them out. He then returns to New York. He's attacked by a new Redeemer, which causes his costume to evolve again. And then after another encounter with the Curse, the suit sends him to hell, but Malebolgia sends him back with full control of the suit. And the suit is a living symbiotic costume. It's called Letha of the 7th House of K, also known as K7 Letha. While wearing it, the host assumes a dominant role over his suit. His shroud, spikes, chains, and skulls are all part of an organism bonded to his central nervous system that'll protect Spawn even if he's unconscious. So it's like a Venom suit, but better. Because it can actually spawn weapons.
Like, yeah.
And the symbiotes in Marvel, if the user is unconscious, the symbiote's unconscious. Right. The Spawn suit, the K7 Letha, will protect Spawn no matter what.
Going into the anime part of me, that sounds almost like the Berserk armor.
Very similar, very very similar. But it's different in the way that with the Berserker armor, the armor takes over, but doesn't have control of its own power.
Yeah, no, because
the K7 Letha has full control over what Al wants and knows what Al wants, and it won't do anything that Al would not do.
It's
super wicked smart.
That's an incredible suit.
Yep.
Iron Man got nothing on that.
You has? You want? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Go ahead. If you want to sell your soul to Malebolgia.
What does that entail?
Getting there. So then we sort of get in. He spends a lot of time fighting street criminals and things because he learns that his suit is fueled by ectoplasm. And the ectoplasm in his suit is depleting. It's not a finite. So it's a finite resource. There's not an infinite supply of ectoplasm in the suit. Once it drains, he loses his spawn suit and his soul remits to hell. So that's where we get into the War of Heaven and Hell. Spawn struggles to find a way to regain control of his suit. He notices that the attacks on him and on his life are coming from both heaven and hell. Due to increasing attacks, Spawn begins to lose himself to evil, but the Heap, an emissary of the Green World, arrives, and Spawn is able to regain his goal. Green World is a dimension whose power was equal to both heaven and hell. They give new powers to Spawn to better understand the world and its people. These powers seem to give control of all the elements in the world. So they basically give him this big-ass power buff that it's like, we don't like what either of them are doing. We're Switzerland, but here, take this power so you can control essentially the world and stop this war.
You say Green World and giving him powers, and I immediately think Captain Planet.
Think of like
better.
Think of like the dark, demented version of Captain Planet that gets eaten by a hell demon.
I was just gonna say Don Cheadle's gonna come in somehow.
Yeah, think Don Cheadle, Captain Planet, but gets eaten by a hell spawn. That's what Spawn becomes basically.
So I think the Green World, that's like what a lot of people know from him now in like modern Spawn comics.
Yeah.
Because I remember I read a recent Spawn comic and I remember like the green was like more prominent than like it used to be, and I was like, that's different. That's different. So when I looked up the Green World, I was like, oh.
Yeah. So later in this war for heaven and hell, Spawn is attacked by Urizen. And after recovering, Spawn learns the Green World has imbued him with a gift, which he uses to contain Urizen by splitting the ground and imprisoning him inside the earth. Urizen's basically an agent of heaven. After this battle, Spawn learns that Malebolgia had caused Urizen's release in an attempt to start Armageddon and conquer the forces of heaven. Spawn and Angela then team up. They journey to hell to stop him. During this battle, Angela mortally wounds Malebolgia, who then kills her in retaliation. Consumed with anger, Spawn takes Malebolgia's head, thus killing the demon who struck the deal for his soul, leaving his soul in limbo. So no matter what happens, Spawn's basically scot-free and clear to do whatever he wants.
My girl.
No. Now, is it at this point where Angela ended up transferring over to Marvel?
Yes.
Kind of. Her story kind of branches off into Limbo. Marvel kind of took it off before she even entered the Spawn story, as they say.
Yeah, it was Neil Gaiman that got the rights to Angela, I believe.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman bought the rights from Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And she ends up in the Sandman comics. So she's DC, not Marvel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Angela's in DC.
I could have sworn I've also seen a Marvel Angela. Hold on.
She is. She's also
with like gold armor and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's also in like something about the Hella comics, if I can remember.
I mean, that would make sense. They probably made her a staple in like theological.
They actually made her a sister of Thor, if I can remember.
It might be a different Angela then. I don't think it's the same one.
Okay.
I'll have to look into that and get back to everybody.
Post a link in chat here. Oh wait, no, I can't post that link. That's over 500.
Okay. Rip. So, upon killing Malebolgia, Spawn learns that Hell's throne is rightfully his when it's offered to him by the demon Mammon. Spawn refuses the offer, but deliberates with his teacher Cagliostro and then decides to return to Hell. He turns Hell into a new paradise. During this, Cagliostro reveals that he's actually Cain, the first person sent to Hell, having murdered his brother in envy. His true goal had always been to take over Hell using a Hellspawn. Having betrayed Spawn, Cagliostro takes the throne but restores his former student's human form as a parting gift. So, Al Simmons is now human, but with a Spawn suit. Which is insane. So, while on Earth, Spawn meets a young Wiccan named Nyx. With his help, he regains his suit. Mammon tricks and then betrays Nyx, usurping her control over Spawn's union with his suit, and removes all of Spawn's memories. With no memory, Spawn wanders the Earth. He releases a group of angels called the Forgotten, and stays a neutral factor in the war between heaven and hell. He then discovers Mammon is a member of the Fallen who was sent to hell.
Charles, I saw you had your head in your hands.
The whole thing with Cain literally broke my mind when I figured it out. because it was like, okay, how are they gonna? It's Cain. Oh, and then of course, Bible child as I am was just
Right.
like, that makes a lot of sense actually. Oh,
Yeah, it makes a
that's
lot of
fucking
sense.
good. So like literally it was just me remembering that, and it's just like I forgot that's how they tied it in, because that's actually a really good way to tie that all together.
Okay, so according to this link that you sent me, this Angela is a reimagining of the character. It's not the
Okay.
same character because she appears in Spawn number 9 and then dies in Spawn 100.
Hmm.
So this
That
one
has
is based off of
Oh.
that Angela.
that has me thinking though, because like when I hear the name of Cagliostro, I think of Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if there's any like potential like connection there, because there's a slight difference. So this is Cogliostro versus Cagliostro.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they may, because this seems to be a something that was created for Doctor Strange in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I haven't really seen any ties into the comics,
Hmm.
on my research. But I wonder if in the Marvel Cinematic Universe they're trying to maybe potentially say that this could be similar. Like, what if they did the whole Cain thing, and then, but Cain was also like an ancient sorcerer of some sort.
I mean, it makes sense.
Hmm.
Okay.
Anyway, go on.
So now we get to Armageddon. Spawn regains his memories thanks to the power of the green world. His suit evolves once again and seems one with his body, but as time progresses, he begins to hate himself. Both heaven and hell have rejected him, and he now lives in an abandoned warehouse as maggots and other insects crawl inside his body. He then returns to the dead zone, although a hellspawn will not be welcomed there. Immediately upon entering, Spawn is confronted by the Disciple, who tears his brain out, throws his heart into the green world, and throws Spawn's body into hell. Mammon then captures and tortures Spawn so he can understand Spawn's secrets and the secrets of his Letha suit. When Spawn's heart falls to the green world, a soul is freed. Chris meets with his mother and travels to hell along with Sam Burke and Twitch Williams to rescue Spawn from Mammon. Spawn escapes, returns to Earth, where signs of Armageddon begin to appear, and they look for a way to stop it. Spawn discovers Wanda's twin children are responsible. He stops them from killing their entire family but cannot destroy them. Zara reveals Jake is God and Katie is Satan. So Wanda legitimately gave birth to God and Satan in modern times. Spawn finds out that the mother removed their powers and positions and sent them to Earth due to their hatred of each other and constant fighting. She tells him he cannot stop Armageddon, but he has the potential to gain the power of a god and preserve the human race. He has to eat a piece of the forbidden fruit from the Garden of Eden to gain such power. She tells Spawn that he must fight against the disciple. It is revealed there are 12 disciples, each one representing one of Jesus's. Spawn's power is also weakened because demons cannot enter the garden, but with guidance from Cyan, Terry and Wanda's daughter, he defeats all but one of the disciples. He defeats all the disciples except Judas, who Cyan tells him not to kill. Judas then stabs Cyan in the heart, but the mother gives Spawn a piece of the fruit and resurrects him. He gains an angelic form and greater power. So if you've seen that image of Spawn with angel wings, that's where that comes from.
Don't kill Judas.
Don't
Stabbed
kill
in the
Judas.
back.
Judas stabbed. Judas, no. So after
Who could have
that,
saw this coming?
everyone in the history of forever.
Yeah.
So Spawn then returns to Earth, which has been destroyed by the Four Horsemen, and angels and demons are waiting to fight their final battle. After defeating Zara, Spawn finds dead warriors of heaven, one of whom is Granny Blake, who is betrayed by her faith. Spawn battles the forces of Satan and God and destroys the forces of heaven, hell, and humanity. He is then killed by the two, who then fight alone on Earth. Spawn comes back again and resurrects everyone with the knowledge of what happened. He leaves God and Satan to fight in their own little world and closes the doors to heaven, hell, and earth. He asks to be turned into a human by the mother, but later asks to once again become a hellspawn. When he remembered that, prior to his first death as Al Simmons, he had beaten Wanda and caused her to miscarry their child as he could focus on his work, causing him to conclude he has always been a monster and does not deserve to try and be human again. So Al Simmons
That's
learned that he was
heavy.
actually a piece of shit.
So I
Yeah.
think that was the part that I didn't know. And that's
Yeah.
crazy to hear.
Yeah,
That's heavy though. Like
it's
to
hefty.
like because like he's got to this point where he realizes what he'd done, and he's like, you know what, I can't go back to that. I can do more good as this rather than being human again.
Yeah. So that was kind of the wrap up of like the original main arc, and now we go back to the mortal world again. And so now there's been a series of odd murders. Spawn finds out that the clown, aka the Violator, has come back, possessing the body of a man named Barney Saunders, who is having an affair with a woman named Wilma Barbara. Spawn destroys and remakes the world. Saunders is rescued by the clown so he can use his body. He then brought out the dark urges inside the tenants of an apartment building and used this to form a doorway to hell to bring back his brothers. However, before he could form a portal, Wilma showed up, and his love for her allowed Saunders to take back control. He then intended to close the portal by going through it, but he took Wilma with him due to being angry over her leaving him in the chute. I don't remember what the chute is. But the clown is basically trying to reopen a portal to hell, and it's not working. They close it up. Let's see. I'm going to skip over a few little things here. Ab and Zab, who are like her twins, they create a new hell where visitors are forced to view their deepest fears, which are then eaten by demons called Sin Eaters. When Spawn confronts Ab and Zab, he is faced with his own sin against Wanda and his unborn child. Spawn cannot break free from the guilt and is parasitized by a Sin Eater. He basically just gets eaten alive. When Nyx interferes, he breaks the Sin Eater's illusion. Spawn breaks all the other illusions and comes across Albert Simmons' brother, Richard. Yes, Richard Simmons.
What?
Yes. Spawn decides to allow Richard to feel his sins. Mammon, as Mr. Malefic, had put an influence on Albert Simmons and Richard Simmons. Only Mark Simmons saved himself from Mammon, but was unable to help the others. Richard calls his brothers to help him save the drug dealer's life, and Albert Simmons, instead of calling an ambulance, pulls the knife from Weasel's body and kills him. Mammon appears, sending the brothers home while he hides the drug dealer's body. I don't know what the drug dealer has to do with this part, but I think it's just to expose the fact that Al has a brother named Richard Simmons.
And now, at any point during this, did his brother Richard say, hey, maybe you can solve your problems by just jazzing it up a little bit?
No, he does not. I did not go that tropey.
You gotta get that heart pumping.
Yeah, no. To finish off this storyline, Nyx and Spawn kill the last Sin Eater, and Spawn discovers Richard cannot remember their parents due to a spell placed by Mammon. Spawn goes to try and find out about their parents, but he finds their home under a spell placed by Mammon. His mother planned with Mammon to create a Hellspawn stronger than the others. He is then given a journal by his father that reveals his ancestor came across a Hellspawn in the past known as the Gunslinger Spawn, which we now have a new spin-off of.
You want to showcase the cover art for that one?
Yeah, I'll showcase the cover art for Gunslinger Spawn.
Look at that. Look at that hat, though.
Yeah. That Spawn is so cool.
It's so cool.
Dude, Pharrell Williams is crying in a corner seeing that hat.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I can't with
It's
you.
like my hat can't never be that large.
Let's see. Let's go here. Spawn at his prime. Spawn is left helpless and weakened after killing the last Sin Eater, and he's weakened against his enemy Erskine's psychic powers. Spawn is troubled by Erskine's creation of a tentacled creature he used to impale his enemies. Spawn is given an opportunity to cause Erskine's death. Spawn enters the Bubble Dome, a dimension. If Erskine does not reveal the location of Mammon, Mammon allows Erskine to complete his last murder. Mammon confesses that it was he who taught Erskine how to use his powers. Erskine tries to kill himself, and Spawn continues his fight against Mammon. Let's see. I want to get to the parts where Al Simmons actually dies. So let's go to the end game. So Spawn is ready to come back to the human dimension again after being cast back into hell. He makes his way to the alleys and blows off his own head. Meanwhile, an An amnesiac called Jim Downing, who's healing at a hospital, wakes up. He seems to know Spawn. A janitor tries to make money off Jim's story and calls a lawyer. The lawyer commits suicide. A thug is paid to capture Jim and attacks him with a flaming skull. Jim flees while the thug causes damage to the hospital. The thug catches up to Jim, who transforms into Spawn, kills his attacker, then escapes the burning hospital in human form, eventually being taken in by firefighters. He's taken to another hospital with other patients. He later leaves and reunites with his previous nurse, Sarah, and begins to transform. He calls to Sarah, but leaves before she can see him. Meanwhile, a reporter begins to ask questions about the incident at the hospital. Wandering the city, Jim is attacked and kills his assailants. This draws the attention of Sam and Twitch, who recognize the chaos of Spawn's doings. After reuniting with Sarah and telling him about his transformation, Jim wanders off again and meets Wanda Blake, Al Simmons' ex-wife. She recognizes Jim as the form Al took when he originally returned to Earth, and she realizes he is a Spawn just like Al. On Wanda's advice, Jim travels to Rat City and finds Spawn's throne and is met by an angel. Jim fights the angel, beats the angel, and leaves. Jim finds out that a man working for Gilbert Sanchez has been asking questions about him. The angel Spawn beat is later attacked by Clown, who removes her wings, and when Spawn returns, the angel is powerless and insane, and finds Freak and Violator. Clown begins to deceive Jim and informs him his suit is a living being and then vanishes. Clown is arrested by Sam and Twitch, and you meet the leader of the vampire group to attempt to form a unity between the leader, Clown, and Spawn. Mob members kill Gilbert Sanchez for his information on the new Spawn. Spawn attempts to learn more about Jim, but is assaulted and uses his power on his attacker. Jim later finds that the man who had been asking Sarah questions and tracks him down to his family's home, which is then bombed, killing everyone inside except Spawn. Spawn finds more members and questions them further and kills them. And that is legitimately where they leave Jim Downing's story in question, because in the resurrection story, Spawn gets revived, and then God, who is in dog form, informs Spawn that Wanda has died and is now trapped in hell, where Al, who's now resurrected, must rescue her. He fights and kills Satan to save his wife. God and Satan are no longer twins because the Man of Miracles gets sold to Marvel and is retconned out of existence, an actual storyline that happened in the comics. They literally said the Man of Miracles gets sold to Marvel. And then God and Satan are now based on the Abrahamic story of creation. After saving Wanda from Satan, she goes to heaven, and Spawn continues to protect the people in Wanda's memory from the forces of both heaven and hell, as well as any supernatural threats. And that's only the comic books up to Resurrection. It eventually gets to a point where Spawn kills Satan, Spawn kills God, Spawn slaughters the angels, kills all the disciples, eventually goes back and kills Judas. It's insane. Judas, yes, you get what you deserve. So that's just the comics. The live action movie follows the origin story pretty loosely. It eventually got turned into a spin-off comic called Curse of the Spawn. So far, no one's picked up the movie rights to continue that movie series because there was a Spawn sequel that was planned to dictate him going to hell and killing Malebolgia. It was going to include Angela. They were going to bring in a live-action Witchblade. It was a huge ordeal, but the budget was way too high and nobody took it up. But Todd McFarlane himself has been writing his own live-action Spawn movie for the last 3 years. Yeah, which is supposed to come out in like a year or two.
That's the one where Jamie Foxx is going to be a Spawn, right?
Reportedly, yes. He was originally cast as it, but I don't know if the casting contract has stayed true because they're still working on the script.
Okay.
Now I want to go back to this Jim arc. So I was a little confused a little bit. So is it like, so when he transforms into Spawn, does the Spawn suit does it retain Al's like past doings as Spawn?
Yes. So
okay,
the Spawn suit, K7 Letha, is a living being on its own.
Right.
But he doesn't reveal. So okay, the suit can reveal what it wants to its user. So it knows all the things that Spawn has done, like Al Simmons has done as Spawn, but can choose not to reveal them to Jim.
Okay.
Basically, Jim is a host for the Hellspawn until Al gets resurrected. The whole point of Al going back into hell and back into like the dead zone is so that he can regain his own strength as his own body and soul, and then retake the spawn, having full control over it and basically being able to keep it forever.
This is kind of like
it's his loophole to get around the curse.
Right. Okay. Almost like a substitute body, basically.
Right. Essentially.
Okay.
It's like a substitution jutsu.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
If you really want like the really good details of like the life and death of Al Simmons, I recommend picking up Spawn Vengeance. It's a one-off.
That like, fucking mouth is gnarly, dude. Is that a Matina piece?
I think it's Jason Sean Alexander.
I actually recognize that name, but I don't remember.
But this collects the history of Spawn from issues 291 to 297. So
because the artwork feels very Matina-esque.
It does. I think it's.
Yeah, let me look this up real quick. Because that's so. For those who don't know, that's what drew me into comics to begin with, was the artwork, just artwork alone. Like, and I know a lot of other comic book fans have their favorite artists, but my favorite artist in particular is Francisco Matina.
No, this is Jason Sean Alexander and Simone Kudranski.
Okay.
I'll just say, Xander, I'm surprised that your favorite artist isn't Rob Liefeld. What are you talking about?
But the art style is one of the things that actually drew me into Spawn, because I mean, look at this cover. Like, this is one of the actual covers.
Oh my god.
Ooh, wow.
And that's Jim Downing as Spawn. He doesn't really grow the mouth too much when Al Simmons is Spawn, but when the Hell Spawn goes out of control, it grows a mouth.
So is that because Jim wasn't necessarily like, Jim was just kind of a pawn,
basically?
Spawn without the S. Sorry, it just makes me think of Spain without the S.
Then he actually they keep the mouth design after Al comes back as a human, because he comes back in human form. He's not all burnt up and messed up. He comes back and takes back control over the Hellspawn suit, and ends up actually having to fight the Violator again. I forgot about that. I mean, look at this panel. I'm just like showcasing some of my favorite panels.
Yeah, let me switch you over real quick. There it is.
Like, the art style of the Violator is insanely good. I just love it.
It's kind of Nightmare Fuelish, but it's still a really good design.
I mean, if you think about it, it's just Cho'Gath.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up my actual favorite artist, because it's the one who did the Punisher, the Welcome Back Frank series.
Mm-hmm.
After he comes back from heaven. God, Garth Ennis may be one of my favorite like writers from comic books, like specifically War Journal and Welcome Back Frank series. Like, those two kind of got me back into like reading other Marvel comics. So like seeing how much that artist really like impacted you, Xander, it kind of gives me the same feel.
Now, question. So the Violator, is the Cho'Gath form, is that like his true form, and then like the clown kind of persona is just what he?
The clown is his falsified form, as they say it. So most
not
demons
very inconspicuous.
Well, he's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be a demon of, how'd they describe it? Let's see, the Violator. He's one of the
I'm looking at images, and I'm just getting like a whole bunch of images of John Leguizamo as a Violator.
Yeah.
They loved him as Violator too. He did a pretty good job as Violator, honestly.
He did. I will give him that. I think he played the clown part very, very well. And that is one thing that I will defend about that movie. They got for being practical effects, they got the look of the Violator down pat. I mean, they followed that modeling to a T.
Right.
So the Violator is the demonic form of the clown, and he was actually intended to be Spawn's mentor. He was sent by
Right.
Malebolgia to be his mentor on Earth. He's one of the Fleabiac brothers, which I'll get to in a minute. Spawn is the Violator is in charge of personally mentoring all of the new Hell Spawns, and he has he has his own clashes with medieval Spawn as well. Violator feels that the humans are unworthy of the Hellspawn position and often makes this point clear because they're not true demons. He usually sees Spawn more as a rival than a threat, as the two have fought on many occasions. Oh wow, that's cool. In 2009, the Violator was ranked as IGN's 97th greatest comic book villain of all time.
Oh wow.
I mean, he's a good villain.
Yes. Violator is the oldest and most powerful of 5 Hellborn demons known as the Fleabiac brothers. Trying to get the other names.
They don't
actually
I thought I saw an article about that personally, but it may have just been about the Violator and him just having brothers, just like what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, the only 2 that they've actually named is the Violator and the Vindicator.
And
they're all just servants of Malebolgia. And the Vindicator literally looks like... Oh, here we go. The 5 Fleabiac brothers. Violator, Vandalizer, Vaporizer, Vacillator, and Vindicator.
So the 5 V's, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
They all look pretty much the same. They just have different like texture designs to them.
Oh, okay.
So... But yeah, that's kind of like the 101 of Spawn. There are a lot of storylines. I mean, let me see. What issue are we up to now? Give me 1 second. It's 322, 320, 317. 322, I think, is the most recent one that we've got.
Okay.
Damn.
So, I mean, 320 something issues. It's 18, 19, 17, 21, 20. Yeah. So 322 is the most recent of just the base Spawn. I mean, that's not counting the new King Spawn series, the one-off series of Spawn's universe, and now the new Gunslinger Spawn. And then we're also supposed to be getting Medieval Spawn, Lady Spawn, the Redeemer series, Mandarin Spawn. Like, they all have their own different storylines.
Okay.
And they're all so cool.
Now, so we have the live action film, the new one, you know, in the works, and supposedly Jamie Foxx is reportedly going to be Spawn. Do we have any other confirmed characters at all?
So actually, Todd Father has said that the movie is not going to focus on Spawn.
Okay.
It's actually going to follow Sam and Twitch.
Okay.
Oh.
As the detectives. So it's going to be sort of like the Gotham side of things. They're going to skip the origin story because he said it's been done to death, which I don't think it has. I mean, 2 live outings as Spawn. He said he doesn't really feel like the origin of Spawn is needed, which I would agree, but you don't really need it. You can kind of tell it in backstory as you go, sort of like how they did with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But it's going to be shifting focus more. It's going to be how it's going to be like the early days where it's Sam and Twitch are noticing the things that are happening around Spawn and how Spawn becomes the king of Rat City. And if it takes off, it'll shift focuses to Spawn and go into the War of Heaven and Hell.
Okay.
That's what he's expressed as his plan. But that's only if the movie is successful. And honestly, there are only a few directors I would want to direct such a movie.
Right.
Who you have in your repertoire? Who
oh God, if I have to pick my perfect director for that, David Fincher.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would like to see his brand of like gritty noir, like give me that like Seven vibe.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
What was the last David Fincher film that came out, by the way? You remember? I think the last one I saw was probably Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Was that David Fincher?
That was David Fincher.
I think
Okay.
that was the last movie I also saw.
The
Yeah.
last thing he's been doing a lot of TV. He did. He was executive producing on Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay.
Oh my god, I love
He
that.
was
I
the
still need to watch
showrunner.
that.
He was
It's
the
a good
showrunner on
animation.
Mindhunter, and then he
Okay.
was an executive producer on House of Cards. The last movie he directed was a movie called Mank, which is about George Mank. And
Okay.
then the last big movie he did was Gone Girl.
Oh, I did see that one. I
Oh.
love that movie. That
Yes.
honestly, like
That twist was
all
good.
like of all time, like all movies I've seen, I would say that's in my top 5.
Yeah.
Really?
So,
Wow.
Yeah.
so for people who don't know who David Fincher is, he is famous for movies such as Gone Girl, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He did The Social Network, Zodiac, The Curious Case
Yep.
of Benjamin Button, Panic Room, Fight Club, Seven,
Fight Club's such a fucking classic.
Yeah.
Alien 3, and he actually got his start doing music videos. He did a
For Nine
lot
Inch
of
Nails,
music.
right?
He did a lot of music videos for Nine Inch Nails. He also did Billy Idol's Cradle of Love, Iggy Pop Home, Madonna, Oh Father, a lot of stuff for Paula Abdul, Roy Orbison, the Gypsy Kings,
That's
Patrick
the one.
Swayze.
Those are the two that kind of caught me by surprise. Madonna and Paula Abdul. I was like, really, David Fincher?
Yeah.
That's
Yep,
kind of
he-
wild to think about.
That's real. Like, you
The
know.
reason I posed that original question, if there were any other confirmed characters, was because I wanted to do a quick little round of friggin' fan cast with you guys. I want you guys to take your top 3 favorite characters that are not already confirmed with an actor associated with it, and who would you want to see play them in this new Todd McFarlane adaptation?
Okay, give me one second.
I'll give you guys a minute. I know I kind of sprung it on you guys, but this is like something that I started planning the moment I was like, "Hey Jagger, let's do a Spawn episode." And I wanted to surprise you with it.
Up? Oh my god!
No. I wanted full on surprise. And also, anyone in chat, if you guys have any top favorite characters and top favorite actors for those characters, go ahead and load it up in chat. We want to see it all. So let's go. So, what's one of your guys' favorite characters, just right off the bat? Kind of get the ball rolling.
Honestly, one of my favorite characters is Angela. Honestly,
Angela.
like seeing,
Okay.
like seeing her in the TV show was just like, yo, she's cool as shit.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
someone to play her, oh man.
One of my favorite characters. I mean, okay, I have a lot of favorite characters from the comics. I mean, the most recurring ones, and if we're looking at the movie as their origin story, Sam and Twitch are amazing. They're great characters.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to do a duo
also-
pair, I would take Sam and Twitch as just one. If you want to do 2 others
Okay.
on top of that,
So I'm gonna do that as my duo. And then, oh man, we can't. I guess we can't do Spawn.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because Spawn technically is cast, but
So we're gonna be Jamie Foxx. So basically, you're casting these other characters to be in this Jamie Foxx Spawn film.
So I'm going to, for me, I'm going to fan cast Sam and
Ooh.
Twitch, the Violator,
Okay.
and the Redeemer.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna do Angela, Wanda, and I need another one. I had to think.
That'd be nice to see a Wanda that plays well against Jamie Foxx.
God, the teacher,
Cagliostro.
Mariasho. Yeah.
I was gonna
Okay.
switch my clown for Cagliostro, actually. Thinking about it, because I just thought of my dream actor for Cagliostro.
Ooh, okay. You guys can go
Actually
head to head
thought
on
about
that one.
for the Violator, but you go first on that one.
So I want to make sure that I'm getting the right last name because I commonly mix up this man's last name. Yep, I am right. So my prime choice for Cagliostro for a live action film, Ian McShane.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Also, earliest earliest memory of Ian McShane was Agent Cody Banks.
Oh my god. And honestly, since oh, never mind. I already said I'm doing the Redeemer.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like so? I having no background on this. Why do I feel like Michael Fassbender might actually be decent for a Redeemer? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Fassbender.
I just feel like he could potentially play that part, and going up against Jamie Foxx, I think that might actually be kind of interesting to see.
He could. It's potential. I'm trying to remember his name. There we go. I knew he had a 3-part name. So it's a bit of a weird casting for Sam and Twitch for me. But for actually no, Charles, you go while I formulate my thoughts.
Charles, you got one set up?
I do have one. Granted, I don't think it kind of like goes into the whole Marvel / like, you know, the other comics thing, to where like I was thinking about it and like someone popped in my head and I saw her face and I was like, who is that? And I was thinking Angela being Karen Gilligan.
Okay.
Really? Karen Gillian. I mean, I love me some Karen Gillian, so.
And it's kind of like, you know, I'm not like hit with like a lot of actresses, but like I remember seeing her as Nebula in, you know, Guardians and in Avengers, was just like, oh, she's really good at those type of like warrior roles. So I was thinking she could probably be pretty good when it comes to Angela, honestly.
And going back on what we talked about in our pre-show, I love me a redhead.
Yeah, very much.
I will say this: if you are a fan of Karen Gillan, you got to check out. I'm looking up the movie right now. But she played in a movie alongside the goodest boy Fitz from the not gonna mention it too much, but Agents of Shield series. But it was like a Scottish film. It was so good. Not another happy ending. If you like kind of semi dramatic rom-com kind of deal, it's not your typical rom-com. And I don't normally like rom-coms at all. Like I fucking loathe them for the most part, but this was actually very well done. It was more dramatic at moments. And hearing Karen Gillan in her native accent is just it's perfection. It's absolute perfection. All right, it's okay. So we got the Violator, or not the Violator, Cagliostro, and then Angela. Do we want to go with our Violator picks? Or what do we got next?
I had one for the clown specifically, but
okay.
Andy Serkis.
Right, okay. Yeah. I'm with it.
Yeah. That's kind of like prime. That's
the man's multifaceted. I'm with it.
Yeah. That'd be
also,
sick, actually.
Like the way he does like those like characters that are just like real like menacing but like small in stature.
Right. Like I could see him doing like the clown, but then also like maybe the mocap for the demon form.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see him doing
that's actually like honestly god tier, or rather hell tier fucking choice right there.
Yeah. God, I can never remember his name. I can remember what he's in, but I can never remember the guy's name. There we go. I was gonna say Tim Roth.
Oh, Tim Roth. Okay. I can see that. Abomination.
Put him in some makeup and voice, like his voice work would be
for it. Yeah. My biggest other than Pulp Fiction, the only thing I had seen Tim Roth in prior to Incredible Hulk was. Did you guys ever see that series Lie to Me?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
that's what I googled. I
That-
remember
Yeah.
like he's in this show, Lie to Me. So I
That was
googled that to
a-
remember
Bro,
his name.
That was
that
a
show
pretty
was
good show
fucking
for a
phenomenal
while.
back in the day, though. Like,
It really was.
Yeah.
Can we agree on that? Like,
Yeah, that
I
first season
remember
was really
watching that
good.
and thinking, like, oh, I know exactly what happens when you lie. You can't fucking lie to me now.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Violator, we got Angela, we got Cogliostro.
So I finally formulated my thoughts on Sam and Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Sam Burke, he's kind of the brawn of the group, but he's also that like scruffy kind of dickheadish comedian. Danny McBride
Okay.
for Sam Burke.
Right.
He was
Okay.
the comedy actor that appeared alongside Seth Rogen a lot.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Tropic Thunder is what clues into my head. The pyrotechnics guy.
Yes, him.
Okay.
And then for Twitch, I have Jackie Earl Haley
Ooh.
because he's like that,
Okay.
like he's that older, like beady-eyed, nerdy kind of role. Kind of has that rat face going on in a respectful way.
Right.
Yes, Danny McBride is now busy writing horror movies, but
Ooh.
That's always so
Okay.
cool to see. Like, that's why I love like Jordan Peele's work. Like, I
Yes.
love
Yeah.
I've mentioned this before. I love people not being typecast. John C. Reilly. When you know, I've seen John C. Reilly, Step Brothers, all these comedic acts, and then I saw We Need to Talk About Kevin.
yeah,
Holy shit, my mind was blown.
Such a
I
switch.
love seeing actors and even writers and everyone just breaking out of that shell.
Well, that's kind of
yeah.
how I felt when I saw Spiral. Like seeing Chris Rock play a serious role with
Yeah.
like serious issues in Spiral.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
That was my first thought when I saw the teaser for Spiral. I was like, I kind of want to see this just because like this is my kryptonite. Like I'm a sucker for that kind of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go ahead and cap off my list. My pick for the Redeemer is mostly on voice alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to seem very cliche, but it's also for who could potentially practically fill out this suit and do the action sequences. And my pick for the Redeemer is Idris Elba.
Ooh.
My man.
'Cause
Wow.
I picture the Redeemer being very very sophisticated yet gruff and in your face,
Right.
but also like very heavenly, high and mighty. And I think Idris Elba, even in his natural dialect, would fit
Mhm.
that very well.
Also Jamie Foxx versus Idris Elba. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
That would
Also,
be, that would
second
actually-
second runner up pick would be the guy that played Amenadiel in Lucifer. I think he could do a good job as the Redeemer.
I forget his
I
name.
can't remember his name. Hold on, I just had IMDb up.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
Oh, let me see if I can get his name right, because it's another guy who's kind of like in that same Morris Chestnut. That's what I was thinking about.
DB Woodside is the guy I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lucifer, we finally got to that episode where Lucifer burned his wings.
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm on like episode 5.
What? I thought you've seen it.
No.
Well,
I've said repeatedly that that's one show that I'm surprised I haven't
Spoiler
seen,
alert.
but I need to
there
watch.
goes a spoiler alert horn.
Oh, boy.
Okay, if people don't know that Lucifer burns off his own wings, like, come on. Like, what do you
Well,
do
no.
with
So
your life?
in the show, he cuts them off, and then someone stole them, and never mind. You'll get there.
Okay, now you're spoiling things. You're getting a little too detailed
Shit.
for me.
There goes the spoiler alert horn again. Oh man. Let's see. We got Hive in chat. For Sam and Twitch, my utterly ridiculous pick would be Penn and Teller.
Honestly, for the way
Ooh.
Sam and Twitch are written, that's not actually ridiculous.
Ooh.
Yeah, guys, I looked at a couple of photo or pictures of Sam and Twitch just to get a better idea of it, and yeah, I was like, that kind of fits the bill.
That's not utterly ridiculous. I mean, there's a reason I picked Danny McBride as Sam. Like, he's kind of a goof, but like a really gruff goof. I don't know.
Yeah, you're making me want to
also-
watch Tropic Thunder
Honestly,
again.
could see, Teller as Twitch. Honestly, that's
Yeah, I can see it.
yeah.
And to kind of counteract Charles a little bit,
Oh,
I have my own pick for Angela.
All right, well
Okay,
here let's
no,
let.
I'll
So
let
you
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 go
kept
first.
you
I'll
kept
let you
off your list. Let's get Charles to finish his
we
list
want
real quick.
me? Okay.
Yeah, I want
so
you to finish off your list.
For Wanda, I kind of want Kerry Washington
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
because we've already seen that her and Jimmy Fox do have chemistry with each other, especially
Right.
in Django Unchained.
Right.
Facts.
So I was thinking that, and then fuck it, I forgot his name again. It's
Cagliostro.
Yes, with him, I was thinking like definitely either like really old black guy,
Don't say Morgan Freeman.
Keith David.
Oh, that would be so meta.
Oh my god, how meta
god.
would that be? I would love it. I'm sold on that one. As much as I love Ian McShane, I would die to see Keith David as any character.
Because now think about it. Not only is it like he already has that like voice that's almost like a teacher, but then
Yeah.
it's also a callback to where he used to be a Hellspawn. I mean,
Yeah. That would be
Ooh.
sick.
What about this? Think about this. So we pull a Black Widow and we have the Redeemer be a faceless character in a suit voiced
Mhm.
by Keith David. Keith David is now the anti-Spawn.
See what I thought you were going to say was that what if Michael J. White's the anti-Spawn?
That would be cool too.
That would be sick.
That would be cool too.
I think I like
fine with that.
the idea of
In one
Keith
thing,
David as
yeah.
Cagliostro and then Michael J. White as the Redeemer.
It would be Spawn's version of No Way Home.
Yeah.
Bring them
Oh
all
my
in.
god. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Here for it. All right, so
I'm with it.
let's hear this Angela debate.
So for me, Angela is like MILF status.
Yeah, she is
So I'm gonna cast
good looking.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore.
'Cause she has that like mean face,
Yeah.
but she could also fill out that costume very, very well.
I would have went with like I mean, I'm trying to remember. Angela is a redhead, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Right. Okay.
Because I would want low key. I would want to see Rachel Weisz, but
No.
Rachel Weisz.
just because I hadn't seen her since The Mummy, and then all of a sudden Black Widow came out, and it refueled some
No,
old
that one's not a very good one.
prepubescent like.
That's just because you simping.
Yes.
That's not
yes, straight
even
up. Straight up.
That's not even a true casting. That's just because you want to see her on
because
screen
I
more.
want to see it.
Hey, can you blame the brother? Me.
Thumbs down, Xander. Thumbs down.
I'm thinking with my head, just I don't know which one.
Yeah, your head. Okay. Okay.
There we go. I need to get enough face palms out of Charles while he's here with us.
Yeah, I haven't facepalmed in a while. I'm getting used to it. I don't
Yeah.
know whether I should be proud or sad.
Sad. That's a sad thing.
Oh,
Where you're
fuck.
just getting used to his shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He grows on you a little bit.
Aw. I love you too, bud.
Yeah, but I mean, fungus also grows on you too, so don't get too happy.
Fuck. Well, anyway, that has been All Things Spawn.
Most
Welcome
things spawn. Read the
and
series, damn it.
goodbye.
Yeah,
From
please read
Spawn
the comic
class.
book. Jeez.
Professor Jagger has all taught us a lot about Spawn. Thank you again for joining us today, guys, and join us next week live here on Twitch as we get down and nerdy with it. I believe, let's go through the schedule. What do we got on the schedule, Jagger?
So this week is the final week of the Cursed Tapes Takeover month. Thank you, Lord. So tomorrow night on Otakus Anonymous, they'll be talking about gothic anime such
Yes,
as
sir.
Hellsing, Castlevania, and more shows of the like. Thursday night, I will be back with the episode of Cursed Tapes. I will be doing a Cursed game night. I'll be playing Lost in Vivo. I was supposed to play it last week, but I was sick and forced to take a night off by my other co-hosts.
Yes, sir.
I'm feeling much better this week, so I will be diving into Lost in Vivo for a few hours, and then Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we start our 24-hour charity stream called Kick Cancer and the Pumpkins.
Woo!
All the proceeds to that show will go to Fuck Cancer, in order to assist in cancer research in young adults and children. So we will have numerous segments of that. The schedule will be released later this week. We'll be breaking it up into 2-hour block segments from 4 p.m. Saturday to 4 p.m. Sunday. That way people can still get out and do their Halloween shenanigans on Sunday evening. And then after that, I myself am taking a break.
Yes, sir. A well-deserved break, because you have done quite a bit this month.
Yes, yeah. I need a week to recharge. So stay tuned to our socials for next week. There may still be a comic relief episode. There may not be.
I was actually going to talk about that now. So with you taking a break, I have decided that I will bring back some more nerd news. We'll go over any of the news that occurs between now and next week. And then I will be going into a game stream. We will be jumping into Marvel's Avengers.
Nice.
It is on Game Pass. I downloaded it, but I haven't touched it yet. So I figure, you know what? While Jagger is taking a much-needed and well-deserved break, we can just hang back and play some comic-related video games.
That cool.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Okay, so yeah, stay tuned next week for that. And then there will be no Cursed Tapes next Thursday, but I will also go over all the details for that on this Thursday's show, because I have other announcements that I want to unveil during the show. So come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we want to thank our lovely guest and brethren here, Charles Robin Jr. of Otakus Anonymous. Thank you for joining us today, boy.
Yeah, actually, it was really fun. It was really fun, like, actually talking about comic books. I haven't done this in so long. It's like getting me to go back to, like, actually, like, buying more comic books now.
There you go.
Support your local comic book store.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And come spend more time with us. You know, you don't always have to be in the manga and the anime. You know, you can come over to the dark side. We have cookies.
Listen, when y'all have the Spider-Man episode, let me know.
Oh, God,
I think we might have to plan that pre No Way Home, kind of going through, like, we might go through the MCU Spider-Man movies, also the previous Spider-Man movies, as well as the actual comic book origins. So that would be a fun one to plan.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun one to plan.
You wanna before we send off totally, we forgot one bit of news that we wanted to mention.
Oh, what's that? Hit us with it, Jagger.
The Ant-Man news. Do you want to go gush about that?
The Ant-Man news. Hold up.
About that.
Yeah, some last minute.
Last minute nerd news. If you are still here, guess what? Bill frickin' Murray, or as he is actually known, Bill fucking Murray, has been confirmed to be in the new Ant-Man Quantumania movie. And I'm so jazzed about it. I am so jazzed about it. Bill Murray holds a special place in my heart. I'm sure he holds a special place in your guys' hearts. Bill Murray is a national treasure. And I am so looking forward to seeing who he plays in Ant-Man, even if it's just himself and there's this exchange between Paul Rudd and Bill Murray, and like Ant-Man's asking for an autograph or some shit. I don't care. I just want to see it.
That's going to be interesting seeing him in that movie.
So we have some actual quotes from him. So Murray was asked about working multiple times with directors like Anderson, Sofia Coppola, and Jim Jarmusch, and whether that means if it's important for him to work with filmmakers he knows and likes. By way of answering, Murray said, I recently made a Marvel movie before immediately seeming to regret the disclosure. I probably won't tell you, but never mind. In any case, some people were quite surprised why I decided on such a project. But for me, the thing was quite clear. I got to know the director and really liked him very much. He was funny, humble, everything you want from a director. And then he goes on later to say, let's put it this way: the director's a good guy, and now I've at least tried out what it's like to shoot a Marvel movie. Murray told Faz when asked if he regrets making a superhero film. He said, "But I don't think I need that experience a second time." So whatever role he's playing is a limited role.
It's a one-off.
So it's gonna be a one and done.
It's going to be a one-off. So it's if it's a famous comic character, it's not a big one. If it's a cameo, then sweet. But I think the way he said it, it's more than just a cameo. So I think he's part of like an actual storyline. But quickly gets written out.
Okay. Now I gotta do research.
I'm
to
here
see
for
what
it.
Ant-Man
I'm here
villain
for
is,
it.
or
I
shit.
want to see it.
Yeah.
I want
Bill
to see it.
Murray.
Well, anyway, if there are any topics you guys would like to see us cover here on this channel, please leave a suggestion in the comments down below. And if you enjoy what we're doing here and want to help support, please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful night and stay nerdy, my friends.